Hello everyone, my name is Infinity and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course the law of attraction. Today I am going to be sharing some information about the root chakra. And the reason I chose to fixate upon this specific chakra, this specific energy center for this podcast is because both in my own life and through speaking and working with others, I find that a weak root chakra energy tends to negatively impact people more so than any other weakness in any other of the chakra centers. Now, of course, this isn't always the case. I feel this is just because of a collective misunderstanding of who we are at the core of our being, who we are meant to be, that reflects in these root chakra-based weaknesses, insecurities, fears, all of these that become stored within the root chakra. So the root chakra is, as the name suggests, the root of all things, energetically speaking, in our energy body. This is the equivalent to the foundation of a house, which again is why I say that I feel it negatively impacts people more so than any other chakra center, because in order for us to manifest, to create whatever we want in our lives, within our relationships, materially, we can work all we want on the upper level chakras. And of course, this work is also important in its own way. The heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, the crown. In a sense, doing chakra work on these upper levels is kind of glamorous. It's kind of over-glamorized. Everyone wants to know how to open your heart chakra, open your throat chakra, open your crown chakra. And I've been the same way in my life, and I feel in many ways I would kind of just gloss over the root chakra, not realizing how much weakness I had at this level energetically that was really impacting any work that I would try to do to open those higher level chakras. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And Maslow theorized that essentially if an individual doesn't meet their basic needs, their basic survival needs, or those needs are not met, they will be incapable of sort of rising up on this pyramid all the way to self-actualization at the top of the pyramid. And of course, that self-actualization is what all of us are striving for, becoming the best, most confident, most successful, whatever that means to us, version of ourselves. The problem is, for 99% of us, just simply because of the way that we are programmed collectively as humankind by society and within society by communities, by our families, we are nearly just ingrained with a weak root chakra energy. This could almost be considered like a collective generational curse. And in fact, many have said that it's through the root chakra that we actually store these generational traumas, generational curses, negative experiences that our ancestors had that were part of world collective experiences actually become stored in our root chakra energy and get passed down from one generation to the next. Things like worldwide famine, war, times of drought, periods of great worldwide instability or material, very physical uncertainty, when survival felt challenging, simply surviving felt like a day-to-day struggle. That kind of struggle and primal need to survive gets passed down to us through our root chakra energy, even if we in our own lives and through our own childhoods didn't actually struggle for material survival, for physical survival. And this is where things can get kind of complicated or interesting, because you may be someone who never struggled to meet your basic needs, food, water, shelter, growing up. You always had a place to live, food to eat. However, you may still have root chakra energy that is damaged or that is weak in some way. And this might be really confusing because you hear that the root chakra is connected to your basic survival, to your primal needs, your basic needs, your sense of security. And it may set up a kind of cognitive dissonance where it's confusing why you would have these root chakra weaknesses when you were always provided for as a child materially, physically. And I feel that for many of you, including myself, understanding that we can actually carry generational traumas, generational curses, of course, for the purpose of healing them through the root chakra. So every coin, of course, has two sides. And in this situation, the fact that we carry this generational damage, these generational curses through the root chakra, it both means that, yes, in some ways we are negatively impacted by energetic momentum that started long before we were born into this body. However, on the other side of that, many of us came here to be those generational curse breakers. I say that a lot on my channel because I know many of you who are drawn to my channel, many of my subscribers really resonate with the idea of being a generational curse breaker. Being someone who came to this planet not to follow a pattern, but to forge a new path. And through that process, part of that being to heal these traumas, these wounds energetically that were passed on from one generation to the next. You were the one that came here to say, it stops with me. Something new starts with me. And many of you, part of how you're doing that is through healing your root chakra energy. So now that we've kind of discussed the source of root chakra weaknesses or damage, both collectively and individually, as well as kind of the overall purpose collectively again in healing this energy, I do want to talk just a little bit more about what the root chakra represents, what it stands for, and how we can know whether we personally have a weak or damaged root chakra energy. So, like I said earlier, the best way to think about the root chakra, to conceptualize it, is either as, again, just simply the root, as the name suggests, like the root of a tree, where we are grounded. Another way to conceptualize the root chakra is as a foundation, the foundation of a building, what provides us with that sense of security, stability, and confidence in our lives at a very core, deep level. The interesting thing about the root chakra, however, is that although all the chakras have an unconscious element to them in some way, the root chakra is the most unconscious of all, which means that very often we are not consciously aware of our root chakra weaknesses. We aren't even aware consciously of the ways in which we may feel very insecure, very unstable, very ungrounded. And because of this unconscious element to root chakra energy, very often the only way we can actually determine whether or not we have a weakness in our root chakra is through analyzing the effects. So I am now going to be discussing some of the signs and symptoms that you may have a weak or damaged root chakra energy. Because again, this energy is so unconscious, it's so deeply seated, sometimes even, as we discussed earlier, not coming from our own experiences, but from the experiences of generations before us. So one symptom of a weak root chakra energy is the avoidance of conflict in our interpersonal relationships. So when you have a weak or damaged root chakra, this sense of primal instability and security doesn't just extend to material physical things, but also into your relationships. So very often we can see the fruits of a weak root chakra in the ways that we interact with others in ways that may not make sense even to our own conscious mind. Now, this can be really frustrating because you may want to be a secure person. You may want to be the kind of person who connects confidently in your relationships, who feels very centered and has a strong sense of personal identity within these relationships and is able to communicate clearly, confidently, and feel secure. That's really the key here. It's that sense of security within our relationships, knowing it is safe to face conflict with others head on because we derive our security not from that person or from that relationship, but from that core, that root within ourselves. In this case, that root chakra energy. However, if we don't have that stable core within us, if we don't feel secure within ourselves because of a weak root chakra energy, then naturally we avoid conflict with other people, even necessary conflict. We avoid expressing our needs and what needs we need to be met by this other person or within this relationship. We avoid addressing issues as they come up, and we tend to have very weak and fluid boundaries with other people. And of course, at the core of this is we have these fluid boundaries with others because we fear if we don't overgive ourselves to this person, we will lose them. And if we lose them, we will have no source of security or stability because we know unconsciously that we don't have that stability within ourselves because of a weak root chakra, because of these wounds on a very deep level that we're carrying with us. So that really leads me into the second sign in our interpersonal relationships that we have a weak root chakra energy is simply that we overgive to others while undergiving to ourselves. We tend to sacrifice our own needs in order to meet the needs of other people. Now, this kind of symptom can sometimes be in part modeling, meaning that we may have had a caregiver, a parent who would overgive either to the other parent or to other people in their lives. Maybe we weren't taught an example of someone who was very strong, very secure within themselves, and who met their own needs. So we see this as a child. And of course, humans, biologically, we have very strong mirror neurons. We are ingrained with not just the ability, but the necessity as children to model behavior of our caregivers. So if we were around parents, caregivers, teachers, authority figures especially, who had a weak root chakra energy, those who tended to overgive to others, to not meet their own needs, but to have this kind of codependency with others where they would expect others to meet their own needs, and in return, they would overgive to these people. They would overextend themselves to the point of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion. If we were taught this behavior, it's most likely that these caregivers, these authority figures also had a weak root chakra energy, and then as children, we modeled this behavior again just because of this biological need to model the behavior of our tribe, of our clan, in order to learn survival mechanisms that are passed down from generation to generation. So another sign that we have a weak root chakra energy, and of course, this all kind of builds on each other because we are overgiving, because we have fluid boundaries, because we're avoiding conflict, not expressing or meeting our own needs. This also means that we tend to feel very powerless, very voiceless. And of course, this is because we don't have that core, that strong, stable inner core that allows us to feel confident enough to rise to the point of authentically, clearly expressing ourselves, expressing our needs. Going back to Maslow's pyramid, if we don't have that strong core, that strong foundation in the root chakra, we can never have stable throat chakra energy because that's in one of the upper level chakras. And of course, we need that energetic foundation, that core, before we can have stable throat chakra energy, which of course the throat chakra is the seat of communication, clear, open, authentic expression, communication with others, and communication with the world generally, the way that we present ourselves, the way that we take up space with our energy and present ourselves to other people in an authentic way. So because, again, of this lack of a core, like I'm saying, it becomes very difficult to rise to these upper levels. And of course, we can still have flashes, these moments of feeling very connected through these upper level chakras. But the problem is we will always feel pulled back down. If you have weak root chakra energy, you may find that something in the upper level chakras starts to open. You may start to feel like your throat chakra opens. You start to authentically communicate. You may feel that your heart chakra opens, that you start to connect with unconditional love to other people and to a close, intimate, romantic partner especially. You may find your third eye opening, that you start to feel intuitive, that you start to feel like you are connecting to your own intuition, and all the way up to the crown chakra. You may feel as though you are connected to the divine, to your higher self. However, the difference is, if your root chakra is weak, you will find that these things tend to happen in flashes and you have trouble stabilizing them. So for example, you may find yourself starting to feel unconditional love for yourself and others through an opening of the heart chakra, but then all of a sudden, for seemingly no reason, you find yourself closing off again. And usually you would say that you became afraid or you became anxious or something just felt off or felt wrong, or even you just found yourself subconsciously self-sabotaging. That's kind of a trademark word of weak root chakra energy, is you may find yourself saying that you are self-sabotaging a situation, a relationship, a life purpose. And you can't understand why, because you may be really actively working in these upper level chakras to open them, doing really powerful exercises like scripting, like journaling, like visualizing, like speaking affirmations. But for whatever reason, you always find yourself pulled back down. And of course, this becomes very, very frustrating because you may not understand at the time why this is happening, because again, the root chakra is very deeply unconscious. It's very subconscious. So then what happens is you begin to describe yourself as feeling stuck or stagnant in life. You begin to feel as though no matter what you do, you always find yourself pulled back down to this fear, to this anxiety, to this uncertainty, to this restlessness, whatever it may be, that tends to sabotage the things you want in life. And the reason you feel yourself being stagnant isn't actually because you are literally stuck. It is because you are trying to move forward, to open up these upper level chakras in really powerful ways, and you are beginning to succeed. But because you never developed that strong inner core, that foundation within yourself, you always find yourself vacillating between beginning to open these upper level chakras, beginning to connect with the divine, with your higher self, with others through this unconditional love energy, and then the lack of foundation at the very core of your being always results in you feeling like you are crumbling back down again and starting at square one. So if this seems to be describing you, which I'm sure if you've stuck around this far, you are feeling some kind of resonance with this root chakra weakness or damage. And again, I want you to know you are not alone in feeling this way. In fact, I really do feel that 90% at least, if not 99% of the population has some kind of weakness or damage in their root chakra that they are unconscious about, because these aren't just individual, they aren't just family wounds either. They are collective wounds and ways of being subconsciously programmed that are passed down from one generation worldwide to the next. And these are things that I've also struggled with myself. These deep feelings of restlessness, insecurity, anxiety, even if they're unconscious, will begin to permeate and cause frustration in every area of your life. So with all of that being said, let's move ahead to how we can begin to cultivate a strong root chakra energy, to build that inner core within ourselves that stabilizes us, that supports us, that allows us to open those higher level chakras in a stable way and create a beautiful magnetic energy around us that allows us to begin effortlessly manifesting what we desire in all areas of our life. The first thing to know about strengthening our root chakra energy is that because these wounds are very unconscious, we must address them through the subconscious, through the unconscious mind. This is why I most highly recommend subliminals for this kind of deep, unconscious mind reprogramming. Subliminals are designed to bypass that conscious filter of the mind, which then allows us to implant positive affirmations and uproot negative thoughts and limiting beliefs from the deeper levels of the unconscious, the subconscious mind, which of course it's our subconscious that actually controls 95% of our automatic processes, our thoughts, and our actions. Those actions that we can't even fully understand, that we may actually call self-sabotage, those are often coming from the subconscious. And because the root chakra is so inherently subconscious, subliminals are especially effective for impacting and shifting those deeper levels of the aura, those root chakra levels of the energy. So I have created a subliminal meditation specifically to address root chakra blockages and limiting beliefs that lead to a weak or damaged root chakra energy. So essentially, this subliminal is designed to pull out these negative limiting beliefs at the core and replace them with powerful, positive root chakra strengthening ideas that begin to cultivate a vibrant root chakra energy around you, that begin to strengthen, to stabilize that inner core within you. So this subliminal contains powerful binaural beat frequencies that result in a kind of sound therapy tool, because when it comes to clearing the chakras, each chakra center actually resonates with a natural frequency. So this specific subliminal actually contains 4 different frequencies that resonate with the root chakra. And the powerful thing about using these tones and frequencies, this kind of sound therapy for chakra clearing, is that research has shown something known as frequency following response, which is if you immerse yourself in a certain tone or frequency, your chakras, your energy centers actually begin to resonate at that frequency. They begin to match it. So this is how we can begin to use sound therapy tools to clear out energy blocks and pockets of resistance from the root chakra. So to explore more about this root chakra subliminal, you can access it through my subliminal site, Sound and Soulful, where I have over 100 subliminals for all areas of life. You can try it free for 7 days when you create a 7-day free trial account on my website, and all the information about that will be in the pinned comment and the description box under this video. So thank you so much for joining me here in this video. I hope that you found this podcast helpful. I just felt really guided to share this information because individually for myself, I found root chakra energy, these root chakra damaging, limiting beliefs and unconscious wounds to be kind of these invisible bands or strings that have held me back so much in the past in my life. So I hope that through this message, through these ideas, I can free not only myself, but others, anyone who listens to this material, from any of those invisible binds you may be experiencing yourself within your own life. So if I did resonate with you, please do subscribe to this channel, join our community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. Thank you so much again. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again in the next podcast.